Another pitcher's duel in Baton Rouge as LSU hoped to punch its ticket to Omaha. Plus, who shined brightest in this week's Saints OTAs and what to do about Junior Gallette's injury. Tyreek Evans reacts to the Alvin Gentry hiring. We catch up with former Newman and LSU great Randy Livingston.
This is the last word on sports. 4th Down on 4 starts now.
How about it for those guys? Yeah! Victory lap, let's go! Let's go!
Only one team could advance to represent the state of Louisiana in the College World Series. Welcome to 4th Down on 4. I'm Leslie Spoon. LSU sweeps UL Lafayette in the College World in the Super Regionals. Let's take a look at how the Tigers sealed the deal tonight. It was a pitching duel early with two southpaws battling on the mound. Gunnar Leger and Jared Poche kept it scoreless through 6 innings. Top of the 7th, Cade Savick breaks through, hammering the ball out to left field. But that one's out of here. 1-0 LSU. The Tigers add 4 runs in the 8th, including Alex Bregman's 2 RBI double right up the middle here. Bregman had gone 0 for 15 in postseason play before that hit. LSU holds on to win 6-3, and the Tigers are headed to Omaha for the 17th time in program history, eyeing the team's 7th national title. Lyons Yellin has more from Baton Rouge.
Coach, you talked about how tough the expectations are of this program to deal with. Do you feel like now that your team is qualified for Omaha that they can just go in and kind of loosen up and play the baseball you've talked about wanting to see them play?
Well, I hope they play loose like that all the time because those expectations are here, whether you're playing a midweek non-conference game or a weekend series non-conference or any SEC game. So we're used to that. I don't think there's like a sense of relief to go to Omaha. Like we expected to go to Omaha. This team had a lot of confidence in themselves. We felt like we had the talent to do it, and then they just went out and did it. Now the game's a hard game to play, so we weren't perfect. A lot of times there were times when our pitching was really good and our hitting wasn't very good. There were times when we hit the ball really well and the pitching struggled. But our defense has always been real solid, and we've always had a great attitude among the team, among the players, very positive group of kids. But I think our team has really good balance. We may not be the best pitching team in the country, the best hitting team in the country, maybe not even the best defensive team in the country, but I challenge you to find teams that are as good as we are in all 3 of those areas. Usually it's the teams that we're going to be facing in Omaha.
Great. Thank you so much. Good luck in Omaha.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lyons. Paul Maneri with mixed success in Omaha. In 2008, the Tigers came back to beat Rice before getting knocked out by North Carolina. They returned in 2009 to win it all against Texas. And 2 years ago, it was 2-2 as the Tar Heels eliminated LSU again. All right, guys, let's go back to Baton Rouge for more with Lyons Yellin.
With Jake Fraley here, Jake, you really had the bat going in this series. Just talk about what it was like to scrap out these 2 wins against ULL.
Yeah, it's a blessing. I'm going to tell everybody that for the rest of my life how much of a blessing it is to be where we are. We expected to be in the situation. In the beginning of the year, this is what we worked for. We worked to get to the point to go to Omaha and give ourselves a shot to win a national championship. Right now, we're excited. We're going to take this in for the rest of the night, and tomorrow we're going to look ahead and we're going to try and get ready for whoever's next on our schedule. That's all we're focused on after today is who's next, Texas A&M or TCU, and we're going to get ready for that series. It's just a blessing. It's fun.
Were you guys feeling the pressure at all throughout this series? Because it took a while for the bats to kind of wake up.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I'd lie if I said we didn't. Baseball's such a hard game, and anybody who plays college baseball and is an expert at college baseball knows how hard it is to get to Omaha, let alone win a national championship. So these games were huge. I mean, our pitching staff was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Our bats weren't like they were throughout the year like we always are. But we were able to string together enough runs to get the series done, and now it's just we got to the dance, and now it's ready to see what we can do.
And you looked like pure elation when y'all finally got that third out, wrapped this series up. What does it mean to do it against another team from Louisiana?
It's huge. I mean, I can't speak personally because I'm from Delaware, but we have all these kids from Louisiana, and they've played with or against pretty much that whole team their whole lives. So I know for them, I can speak on their part, just being good friends with them and listening to them talk how special it is for them. You got a little bit of bragging rights now. So, I mean, for the rest of their lives, they can talk about this. And, I got to give credit to ULL. They had a great team. They got very hot at the end. They gave it to a long point in their season, and they're going to be a good team for the years to come.
Coming up, we'll head to Airline Drive, where the Saints wrapped up their 2nd week of OTAs, where a pair of receivers hope they'll get a chance to replace the likes of Jimmy Graham and Kenny Stills. And later, Tyreek Evans on playing for Alvin Gentry and what Randy Livingston is up to now. Off-season work continues in Metairie with another week of OTAs in the books for the Saints. There were key changes across the board this offseason. On the offensive side, the Black and Gold will bank on some young receivers growing up fast and count on some key veteran additions on the line and in the backfield to improve an offense that saw some key cogs traded away. One of the biggest question marks for the Saints in 2015 is who will emerge as Drew Brees' top target. Jimmy Graham and Kenny Stills were traded away in the offseason. Brandon Cooks is someone who can fill that void. Cooks is back in the field after a hand injury in Week 11 last season brought his promising rookie campaign to an abrupt end.
Very excited to be back. I'm extremely happy to be out there with my teammates, flying around out there on the field. So this OTA has been going smooth so far. Definitely ahead of where I was last year, just mentally in the game, knowing my plays and just having that true confidence out there when I'm running around.
The 2014 first-round pick says that confidence comes from digging into the playbook. Now instead of having to second-guess himself on what's what, he can just focus on execution.
Taking the thinking out of it, some of that thinking I was doing last year can really slow you down. So when you take that out of it, now you're just out there just playing freely, and that's what it's all about.
Undrafted second-year players, Shontavius Jones and Brandon Coleman, are also flying around the practice field with a sense of belonging. There's a lot of depth at receiver, but no real standout star. Marcus Colston and Cooks will both take up a roster spot, but there's plenty of opportunity for Jones and Coleman to seize the day.
They were two guys that obviously made an impression on us on the practice squad last year. They've had a good off-season with the workouts in the weight room, and the first thing we evaluate is, does the player know what to do? And those guys in their second year are getting aligned quicker. And if you know what to do, then it's a lot easier or you have a lot better chance of doing it than if you're struggling getting out of the huddle and understanding what route you have.
Yeah, last year I was just kind of sketchy, kind of second guessing myself as the first year in the system. But now I've been in the system for a year now, so now I kind of got the hang of it.
It's just a tribute to the hard work I put in this offseason. I'm just got to keep doing that, stay consistent. Confidence is everything, so you just go out there not thinking as much and just go out there and play the games that I've been playing all my life.
Both of the second-year players are big receivers. At 6'6", Coleman is the tallest target on the roster.
Anytime you can throw to him, that's definitely a positive. It's that gives you a big area to throw to, so it's a lot of room for air that he can make you look good.
Garrett Grayson spent part of last week at the rookie premiere in Los Angeles. This week he was back on the field trying to get used to all the terminology that comes along with being an NFL quarterback.
Just spitting out these play calls, getting them right, letting everybody know, walking in with confidence in the huddle. It's something when you've got a play call, it's 16 words long, and then you got to go in with confidence and tell everybody what to do. Sometimes you can get tripped up in your words, and so that's something that's honestly been probably the most difficult part.
Grayson has been taking third and fourth string reps, but Peyton likes what he sees so far.
One of the challenges when you're getting reps towards the end of practice, and we've kind of created a period to get more work for the younger players, but is being able to handle, there might be a missed block and all of a sudden a guy running free, but I think he's progressing well. We're not redshirting anyone right now, and so I wouldn't want to put a ceiling or a bottom on what he's competing right now to improve. And then as we move into this, I think that we wouldn't be doing ourselves justice if we just said right now our vision in this first month being here is this. We'll see how he does, and that's no different for him than it would be any of these other younger players.
For the second week in a row, running back Mark Ingram watched from the sidelines. Sean Payton made it seem like there wasn't much to it, saying it's nothing significant. At this time of the year, we're smart about what we're doing. As for new addition C.J. Spiller, his workload won't be limited to the backfield. He may be just the player the team missed in 2014 with a void left by Darren Sproles.
He's got a unique skill set. He has good speed. He's someone that understands what to do in the passing game, and I think he'll provide versatility. He can do a handful of things pretty well. So it's up to us to find ways to, and I said this a week ago, get him the ball in space. He's also someone in the return game that I think can be a factor for us.
Another key free agency addition on the offensive side of the ball is center Max Unger. He was at OTAs after missing the first week for the birth of his child. And now things will be a little bit different than they were in Seattle. Unger will have to touch up on his pass blocking. Drew Brees had more completions last season than Russell Wilson had attempts. For now, the 7-year veteran is just getting used to the little things.
I mean, the concepts are the same. Technique's a little bit different, obviously different coaching, different style, and just kind of adjusting to that. And, you've been doing something for a little while, and then, just changing little steps here, hand placement there, stuff like that.
Peyton said the attendance has been the highest it's ever been for an off-season program, and rightfully so. The team has a lot of areas to improve in. Right now, every player dressed has a shot, and like they say, competition breeds success. The week ahead marks the Saints' last week of OTAs, followed by the team's minicamp June 16th through the 18th. Then the players have one more chance at rest and relaxation before training camp kicks off late July. For more analysis on this week's OTAs, we go to Lyons Yellin, who caught up with Christian Garrick in Baton Rouge.
I'd be remiss if I didn't start with the big news of the week, Junior Gallette's pec injury. Is he going to be out for a while?
Well, I mean, it's unknown at this point, but if he needs surgery, man, that's an opportunity, or there's a chance that he won't play the entire season, depending on the severity of that pectoral injury. But he's going to miss some time. It just depends on how bad it is, whether it's into the regular season or not. We don't know for sure. But if he doesn't play this year, man, the Saints lack some serious juice on that side of the ball in their pass rush. He had double-digit sacks a year ago, double-digit sacks the year before. He is their best pass rusher. And to say that they won't miss him and they could just move on without him, I don't know that I'm so quick to say that and willing to concede that. It would be a pretty big blow for this defense that's trying to rebound and rebuild off of last year's poor performance if they don't have number 93. It's been an interesting 9-10 months for Junior Gallette. He signs that big deal ahead of the 2014 season. Rough off-season with the off-the-field stuff that he got into, and then there was those rumors circulating that the Saints might have been shopping him, and the contract was not advantageous to do that for the Saints. But Junior Gallette, ever since he signed that big contract, and it just hasn't gone all that well for him.
He really had a lot to prove going into this season, so they're certainly going to miss him. But did they set themselves up all right with the way they drafted this offseason with Kikaha and Tall possibly coming into play?
Yeah, I think so. You saw Kikaha work in the absence of Junior Gallette in that nickel kind of pass rushing formation, if you will. And Kikaha, Davis Tull, they're going to be counted on to contribute on this team at some point. I like the selection of Kikaha. You saw the explosive first step that he had. But make no mistake about it, the experience is something that goes against Kikaha that Junior Gallette has. And the numbers, you know what you're getting in a player like Junior Gallette. You're still dealing with the unknown factor of Kikaha. Also, you like Anthony Spencer because he's a veteran. Now, is he going to be the same player he was maybe 2 or 3 years ago? Probably not. But he's a veteran that can maybe make up for some things.
Now let's talk about on the field. We got to see Garrett Grayson for the first time this week. What did you think about his performance?
I liked his accuracy. You could tell he's still digesting some things and talking to him in the locker room. Coming from Colorado State, a normal play call for him was 8 words. These are 16-word calls that he's now having to regurgitate and spit out to his teammates and communicate. I think that's something that eventually comes into training camp, etc. He's got a good foundation, but we're a ways away. We won't really know about Garrett Grayson until we see him in the preseason, but we're a ways away from any kind of threat to a #1 job or anything like that, especially with Drew Brees here, who I still think has three good years left in him.
We've heard all season the confidence the Saints have in their young wide receivers, Brandon Coleman and Shantavius Jones, and during practice this week, they looked phenomenal.
The last 2 weeks, okay? And now, I want to temper the enthusiasm just a little bit because in OTAs, organized team activities, they got shorts and they got helmets on. So the skill position, the wide receivers tend to stand out. The corners tend to stand out. Running backs, they kind of stand out. It's hard to evaluate the offensive and defensive lines because there's no contact. But you're right, Shantavius Jones, Brandon Coleman, they look so much more comfortable in their skin knowing the playbook and making plays out there.
Real quick before we get out of here, you like the Cam Jordan deal?
I do. I think it's money well spent. You run the risk if you make him play after this year on that club option of driving up the price even more if he lights it up.
Thank you so much, Christian. More on 4th Down on 4 coming up next.
Knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. We hit the hardwood earlier in the week to catch up with Randy Livingston, one of the best prep athletes to come out of New Orleans. And in the process, finally got some player reaction after the Pelicans' off-season coaching changes. This week, Randy Livingston returned home like he does every summer to host his annual basketball camp.
Home is home. I mean, I'm in Australia, but my heart is in New Orleans all the time and in Louisiana.
Livingston made a national name for himself on the basketball court at Newman, earning High School Co-Player of the Year in 1992 and 93, sharing the honor with Jason Kidd and Rasheed Wallace, respectively. The New Orleans native, who scored over 3,000 points in high school and led the Greenies to 3 state titles, even appeared in the McDonald's All-American Game and Magic's Round Ball Classic. His college career at LSU was derailed by 2 separate devastating knee injuries, a torn ACL the summer before his freshman season and a broken kneecap during his sophomore year. But his playing days were far from over, and that's what he shares with these campers.
They're going to face adversity in life. There's going to be things that are not going to go well. Some of the kids out here, if they miss a couple shots in a row, they put their head down, and so you got to constantly uplift them. But at the same time, that's something that they're going to have to instill in themselves. It's not going to be all peaches and cream every time.
Livingston was an NBA journeyman for over a decade, including some stops with the CBA and NBA D-League. He later coached for the Idaho Stampede and even made time to finish his degree. All those experiences led him to create Live On Basketball, a worldwide enterprise that he currently oversees. His success story didn't stop for injuries, it just went down an alternate path.
Continue to push, continue to work hard, and it's my slogan for my company, you gotta live your dream and live on.
LSU has certainly had their fair share of top recruits. And Ben Simmons is their latest prize. The Australia native will call Baton Rouge home for at least a year. LSU's staff built a marketing campaign around Simmons' arrival, introducing their season ticket campaign for the upcoming season with the slogan, "He's coming." Livingston and Simmons were the only LSU players to have earned Naismith Prep Player of the Year honors. The former Tiger says Simmons can live up to the hype.
He definitely is the real deal. He has a wonderful support group, and his father and his mother. Then his godfather, David Patrick, is the assistant coach at LSU. So he's going to do wonderful things. They're going to have a lot of pressure next year because a lot of expectations are now high. But Coach Jones, I was recruited by Johnny. We're still good friends to this day, and I wish him nothing but the best. But they got their work cut out because the expectations are so high. But Ben, he'll get used to this now. Like with the ticket thing that they're doing, it's just part of being who you are. Looking forward to great things from Ben.
Livingston has been there, done that, but he wanted to bring in a current NBA player to talk to his campers. Pelicans guard Tyreke Evans was happy to share his story with the kids.
Anything's possible. I mean, you just got to keep working hard, and keep trying to live your dream. For me growing up, I never had an NBA guy in my camp, so I just wanted to come up here and support the kids.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks for the Pelicans franchise. Monty Williams was let go after 5 seasons in New Orleans, and last weekend, Golden State associate head coach Alvin Gentry was hired as the franchise's 6th head coach.
I think it's a good choice for us. I mean, he's a pretty good coach. I've been watching him in Phoenix, and I know one thing: we just got to be ready to run.
In 26 years in the NBA, Gentry's made head coaching stops in Miami, Detroit, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. Evans is referring to his up-tempo offensive philosophy, which he believes will suit New Orleans.
I think we needed a lot. I mean, we're a young team. We got the guys who can get out and run. Me, AD, Drew, Eric, Ryan. Those guys space the floor out. I think it's going to be a good year for us. Might be a tough training camp, a new coach, learning new things, but I think it's going to be good for us. I think the guys are very excited about what we got going on, especially from last year. So we just got to take last year into this year.
Gentry has hired defensive mind Darren Erman as his associate head coach. The Boston Celtics assistant credits Tom Thibodeau and Doc Rivers as his mentors.
I know he's big on preaching defense, so I'm willing to learn and watch film with him and do whatever it takes to help us get better.
Evans underwent arthroscopic knee surgery on May 20th and is in town rehabbing with the Pelicans training staff. He says he'll be ready to play when the season starts. And it's pretty incredible. He went from small forward in training camp to starting point guard when Drew Holiday went down with injury.
It just shows how dynamic Tyreke is. He actually trains here with Anthony Davis and my good friend Marcel Scott. So I feel like that work that he did last year in the offseason really paid off. Looked like he was much more spry and he was able to get to the basket and finish a lot more. So, I think those guys, they have talent. The Pelicans have a talented team. Hopefully Alvin is the right person to put everybody in the right situation.
I've been moved around, since Sacramento, but I think I'm better with the ball in my hands. I think probably switching on and off the ball, but I'm doing whatever it takes for us to win. That's the type of mindset I have.
New Orleans went 26-17 with Evans at the helm. The 25-year-old assured me rehab is going well and he'll be ready to go when the season starts. Don't go away. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 right after this. A big week ahead in sports. LSU headed to Omaha for the 17th time in program history. Tiger shortstop Alex Bregman expected to hear his name called tomorrow on day 1 of the MLB draft, and the Saints wrap up OTAs. For Lyons Yellin, producer Danny Rockwell, photographer Adam Ney, I'm Leslie Spoon. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you same time next week.